Over the last few months, we've heard many cases and reports of domestic violence, domestic abuse, child abuse, and it can be very frustrating as ordinary people, isn't it? I mean, as normal people who don't have the influence or the sort of reach to try and do something about these things, generally it's two types of feelings. The first things first, you can have this anger at the perpetrators. You ask these questions, why are they doing, the things that they are doing? And of course, there's always sympathy for the victims, for the people who are going through this abuse. Now, just like that, I too went through this and I decided, look, I can't take the law into my hands and go punch in the face of the person who does this. But what I can do is look for people, look for organizations that are helping victims of abuse, victims of domestic violence, victims of domestic abuse, and helping them, supporting them, and helping them come up with a new lease in life. And that's when I found out this awesome organization called Emerge Global. And it turns out my good friend from back in my media days, Jehan Mubarak, former cricketer and right now the head coach of Royal College, is an ambassador for this awesome organization and also a board member. Hi, Jehan.
Hi, Samir.
So tell me very plainly, and to everyone's watching, what exactly do you guys do here at Emerge Global?
So it's very much like you mentioned. We work with young girls, young children who have gone through abuse, and abuse takes various forms. Can be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. So, and we are talking about young girls. We work with girls who are under 18 within state-run shelters, where we go in and conduct programs for them. But also we have started a reintegration center. So once they pass 18, to, as you said, to give them a new lease of life, to give them some life skills. Because as much as you talk about a perpetrator and a victim, the victim continues to remain a victim for most of her life, and she always sees herself as a victim. And we want to change that for society to see her differently, for her to see herself differently, to have some value on herself as a person. And we do that through various means, through the reintegration program. And like you said, very few people actually are able to reach out to us, and it's good that we are here having this chat about it.
Awesome. I'm seeing these beautiful pieces of jewelry and some of these things. Can you take us through what exactly this is and who's making this?
Yeah. So the jewelry actually has an interesting story. This whole concept of Emerge came up with a young girl from the US, who came here on holiday and decided to quit everything she was doing. She was studying. She decided to quit that. Wow. And because she saw these young girls whose lives had been affected through no fault of their own, and they had been destroyed. So she started doing some therapy and she started using beads as a tool for therapy. And she noticed that that was a way of bringing them out of their shell, and they started making beautiful pieces of jewelry. And that was the start of Emerge, and we try to keep that as our flagship. And so the money that Emerge raises by selling the jewelry goes back to the girls for them to start up their own businesses. We put it into a bank account for them. So when they do leave the centers or the shelters, that they have something to get them on their way.
To sort of help them stand up on their own feet again, I understand.
Yes.
So how do you then, go out and find these girls? Do they come to you seeking for assistance, or is it some sort of a partnership you have with authorities, finding these victims and then helping them doing these things that you're doing with them?
Yeah, it's very rarely that the victims reach out to us and come, because there's such a stigma attached to it. Even the families, sometimes even the parents are very accepting of the fact that, okay, my daughter was abused, my son was abused, let's get on with life. And nobody, that child very rarely has a voice. So often those cases come to us through the state, through the NCPA or through the probation departments. And once they turn 18, until they're 18, they're with the state, but once they do turn 18, we get the girls to us, and we run a reintegration program. We give them all the skills that they need: English, self-defense, they do some yoga, some painting, and all of them have dreams. So we try to match them with in a secure work environment, like set them up with some of the big organizations, with MAS, Brandix, and find them secure work environment. And actually that has been successful. They've gone on, they've started their own families, started their own businesses. Some girls are making their own jewelry and selling it. So it's a great concept.
That's great to hear. But you know what, a lot of people like me, people who are watching this video, have this sense of helplessness when they hear about such things, when they get to know that there are people who are struggling like this. So how can these people help Emerge Global, or rather directly try and benefit these victims of abuse? How, can you just explain to us how people can help?
Yeah, I mean, there are two ways. One is, if you do see something abuse, we see it a lot, but we don't call it out enough. If you see something, please call it out. in schools, in public transport, at your workplaces. If you see abuse, call it out. By not doing so, you are complicit in it. Secondly, you can reach out to Emerge. Visit us on Facebook, our Emerge Global Facebook page. The information is there, how you can help. You can buy our jewelry, you can donate. All the money goes directly towards these girls and helping them rebuild their lives and helping them feel that they add value to society, because they really, really do, and they need your help.
Awesome. So there you go. Jehan Mubarak, former national cricketer, currently the head coach of Royal College and doing awesome work with this amazing organization called Emerge Global. You can help to get in touch with them and help these people. Rather than complain about the society and what's wrong with it, we should get down and dirty and get to action, help these people get back up on their own feet and get a new lease in life. I'm Sam, and this is my perspective.